Going to take you to Cape Town now, stimulating tourism and rebuilding leadership in critical public entities. These are some of the economist Miriam Altman's suggestions on how South Africa can begin to boost the economy. They're all contained in a newspaper piece that she wrote recently titled Progressive Prosperity, How to Climb Out of a Ditch. Miriam joining us live now from our Cape Town studios. Miriam, a very good evening to you. Thank you for your time. So you are suggesting a slow and steady dig out of the current crisis.
What I'm saying is that there are a handful of things that could be done to get us moving straight away, that are in budget, within hand, we know how to do them, absolutely possible. And those are the things we should be focused on in getting the economy moving. We know the economy's stopped growing and employment has stagnated, and these are things that are with hand that we could do. It's an article that was published in Daily Maverick yesterday.
And I know you've outlined about 7 areas where you say that the country should be focusing as we begin that slow journey. Outline those for us.
Yep. Well, you know, they're the kind of thing, firstly, leadership in state-owned enterprises, most immediately tourism, getting visas issued more easily, citizens going on vacation locally. I know that sounds crazy, but one of the easiest ways of creating jobs is in tourism. So essentially, I outlined 7 areas that could be moved on immediately that are really like that. Security and energy supply. It sounds like a big project, but you know, we can get moving on procuring energy in relation to the IRP. We can enable mines to generate their own energy for the moment. Those are the kinds of things. Yeah, more clarity in what we're saying about property rights. You know, we may be needing it. We need a debate about expropriation, but there are probably a whole range of areas where we could give a little bit more certainty. So that's the kind of thing.
So, Miriam, I want to get your view on this. We're in a country where national unemployment is hovering around the 30% mark. That's the official figure. More than half of young people in this country are sitting without work. Many are struggling to access basic education, funding for the small businesses they're trying to start on their own. Do you understand why a lot of them will say to you and I tonight that there simply isn't enough time? There's no time, in fact, for a slow and steady build.
Well, it will always be a slow and steady build, I'm afraid to say. What I was saying in the article, I give an analogy to a truck and getting stuck in a ditch and spinning your wheels and getting further stuck into the ditch. Unemployment is something that gets solved over many years. It's not something that gets solved quickly. The point is that there are now that employment has stopped growing. You know, we actually were creating quite a lot of employment. I know it appears that it is not the case, and that it doesn't feel that way because unemployment is already very high. But now employment is actually falling or stagnant, and it means that we really do need to get moving, no doubt, more quickly, but there is no quick fix to an unemployment rate of this type. It's the type of thing you need to work over generations, actually.
And quite crucial to that will be what you suggested in as far as building quality TVET and university platforms where young people can go
Absolutely.
to get the skills that equip them from an ever-changing global economy especially.
Yeah, so if I can just correct an impression, young people definitely have universal access to basic education. But now government, as we all know, is planning to expand the budgets to higher and vocational education and enable free education for higher education and vocational education for lower income students. That will probably raise the ability of young people from poor communities to actually finish their courses and to get in there faster. Now, what I'm proposing is that one of the barriers to the expansion of the programs is that, you know, the vocational system actually was undermined under apartheid, and so it's been a very slow journey to to build it up. So the kind of thing one can do more rapidly is to create partnerships with the private sector. There are companies like Imperial that are already doing fantastic work in partnering with TVETs to create the curriculum and make sure it's relevant, ensure there are partner internships and a pathway into work after. And that's the kind of thing we could be doing a lot more of to increase the pace of improving the quality of education and the appropriateness and relevance to the market. Really what I was trying to do in the article is make people aware, and it's not necessarily even aimed at government. These are discussions we're having in government. But I think in a period like this when we're going very slowly, there's a sense of hopelessness. And I think we need to be, you get the government you deserve. We all need to stay engaged in democracy. We need to stay engaged and focused in trying to stimulate things that can actually happen, that are practical, that we can participate in, that we can be involved in, and get focused on what it is that we'd like to see from government in a constructive way. And there are many things. So
I didn't want to cut you off there, Doctor, but thank you so much for speaking to us tonight. That was economist Dr. Miriam Altman speaking to us from our Cape Town studios again.